This movie was boring, super long, and nothing happened though. Like, it was an hour and 37 minutes, which is a decent amount of time for a movie to get through stuff. But they focus on one character, even though the whole story is supposed to be about four. We learn nothing about Tyler. He's barely in the movie, even though he's one of the four Ipsons, or whatever they called it. So, he's basically meaningless. Reed is just there to bully people occasionally. And then he literally has no character either. And Progue, he just occasionally talks to the main character. That is it. Even though, as you can see on the cover, it's supposed to be about all four. I'm sure if you've ever heard the word bitch, you've heard the other word biatch. They have a terrible line in the movie where Sebastian Stan says witch, but he says weotch. Yeah, very funny. Not. Like, literally nothing happens in this movie though. There's occasional fights, this and that. It's a very boring movie. Nothing happens. A lot of the dialogue is very cheesy. A lot of the stuff is repeated. It was just terrible. It was not fun to watch. If you watch an hour and 37 movie, you should be able to talk about some of the things that happened. But I really can't. Because nothing really happened. Because they only focused on one character. And they didn't even do that well. He sorta had a relationship with Progue, and then he gets injured for most of the movie. And then they kinda give him a romance just so Sebastian can have someone to target. Even though he has like 5 other people he can target that the main character cares about. Because he has a mom, he has a dad, and of course he has his 3 friends that we know nothing about. But they throw in a romance so he can have someone to take out. Yeah, this movie was just not very good. The only other thing I can think of is that it's a bit weird at times too. There's this one line where I don't know who the hell came up with it, but it is so weird. Where they're in this bar or whatever, and they're randomly talking. I don't even really remember what they're talking about, but then they see this girl, and they say that she hasn't worn panties since she was 12, and that is just such a weird line. And then they use their powers to show her ass. Like, oh no. That's weird. This movie was terrible. I don't recommend watching it. So, just nothing happened. It was super boring. Somehow, it got a 62% from the audience. But The Amazing Spider-Man 2 couldn't get that. Though obviously that movie has its flaws, it's definitely one of my favorite movies. But at least it got what it deserved from actual Rotten Tomatoes with a 4%, because this movie was terrible.